So, it looks like Magic Legends has announced its monetization concepts, and everybody seems pretty mad. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. Hope you're having a fun beginning to your week. We're starting it off right for Magic the Gathering this week. We're going to be talking about Magic Legends, which is like a side project of Wizards of the Coast. I feel like when it comes to these Magic the Gathering video games, if it's not like Arena or MTGO, where you're actually playing Magic directly, that a lot of them are just kind of, people aren't that aware of what's going on with them. So this one specifically is a PC game that's being developed. I don't know if it's going to come to mobile or not. I mean, it's not like it's like the most high-end graphics, sophisticated style program. Basically, what it looks like from the outside, and take this maybe with a grain of salt, because it's not like I'm like hardcore gamer. I play the Fortnites kind of dude. Like, I don't play a lot of recent games. So to me, what Magic Legends looks like is a Diablo clone. Like there was Diablo 1, 2, 3. I think the fourth one's coming out soon. Diablo 2 was the sweet spot for me. That one was fantastic. So I can totally get down with the Diablo style game, but admittedly, like when it comes to the graphics of the game, it looks like it's like generations behind. I don't know if it's just me, but that's kind of the vibe I get. I don't know if that's intentional, just because it's easy to do like a reskin, because that's what I view this as. It's like Diablo, but check it out. We have different magic worlds you can go to. Like they showed some artwork of, check it out, this is Shiv and whatever, the land of fire and Rocky Mountains, and that kind of stuff is cool to me if they're going to like actually develop the world and make it look like the magical world. If they're just gonna pick locations in Magic that already look like generic RPG locations because they already have a lot of the assets designed and can kind of tweak them a little, not a big fan of that. But if they're actually going to, let's say for example, build the Tolarian Academy or some other notable locations in Magic the Gathering that you can go to, that's pretty neat conceptually. So I know I'm going on a bit here, but it's just kind of to give you an idea of my mindset of the game. I'm totally open to a Diablo style explore the magical world game, as long as it feels like it's drenched in actual Magic the Gathering. From the abilities and things that I've seen of the characters when you're running around, it doesn't really feel like they're casting spells from Magic the Gathering. They do feel like generic Diablo abilities from the little bit that I've looked at it. Now, admittedly, I don't spend a lot of time looking at Wizards side games. I kind of gave up on them after, what was the name of the mobile app game where it was Spell Slingers at one point. And I think they might have changed. I don't remember. It had multiple names, okay? It had multiple names, and I played it, and it was terrible. It was just terrible. And then they revamped it and changed the name of it and changed things around. And I went to do a review of how awful it was, but the game was so buggy that it just locked up the app, and I couldn't get it to work anymore. So that, like, basically, when it comes to Wizards of the Coast and developing video games, they don't seem to give the developers very much money. That's what that's what it feels like to me. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like when it comes to any sort of video games, Wizards wants to save as much money as possible, so there's only so much on the table, so you get games that don't feel like fully fleshed out. So in the case of Magic Legends, this game, like, every game now has to generate microtransactions and everything. It's something I really don't like about the big game houses, the big studios that make games where it's like everything has to be monetized. They're not willing to just create a great game and sell it to you. It's so hard to find something like that. Even games that originally did that, like let's say, for example, your Grand Theft Autos. Those games were great and they would spend forever developing these giant worlds, but it just feels like now they're looking to infinitely get you playing Grand Theft Auto Online and just spending money. Like, every company wants to sell you a game that keeps taking money from you instead of just being an experience you can enjoy. I'm not a big fan of that, but there are ways it can be done that I'm cool with. Like, if you, for example, have a game where cosmetics, nothing that's really going to affect gameplay is for sale, but visually it's like, oh, you can get new fabric for your curtains, or you can get a mohawk, kids, like that kind of silly stuff that doesn't affect gameplay whatsoever. If you want to sell that kind of stuff, I'm cool with that. If I'm playing a game a lot and really enjoying it, I'm down with supporting the creators of it more by buying additional things from them. But I don't like it when it becomes like a pay-to-win style game. So I know I've gone on a bit here. Let's actually dive into the announcement. I just wanted to give you guys like some background information on my whole level of experience with all this. So the announcement says, Magic Legends is a free-to-play, persistent online action RPG that puts you in the boots of your own planeswalker. Over a variety of blogs, we've discussed classes, artifacts, deck creation, and a few of our progression systems to highlight all the amazing things you'll get to experience in the game. We have more exciting features and content to share with you over the coming months, which will further expand your understanding of how you will adventure through the multiverse and become more powerful as a planeswalker. Now that our first closed alpha test is behind us, with several more closed alpha and closed betas on the horizon, and by the way, I did actually try and get into the beta, like I signed up for it, but I don't know if anybody's been given beta access. I guess from what this is saying, they haven't. I wanted to experience the game firsthand before I really said anything about it in videos, but with the monetization stuff that I read, I felt the need to chime in. So basically they say they want to take some time to cover some high-level monetization details for Magic Legends and how it will factor into the overall game experience. This is the stuff that has got people all worked up, and it's understandable. So, first thing first, Magic Legends will not be selling content updates or playable missions. Our goal is for the entire game to be playable and fun from the beginning through the end game and beyond without having to spend a dime, period. See, I will talk about how I don't actually believe that statement as well when we get to the things that feel like they contradict it. We will be offering a variety of items for purchase that will give players alternative options when building their decks or loadouts, but not give them a numerical power advantage. Now, this is something I think that they think they mention it multiple times, so I'll come back to the concept of a numerical power advantage, all right? So, building on that philosophy, we'll be offering an in-game currency exchange just like Cryptic's other free-to-play titles, Neverwinter and Star Trek Online. I have not tried either of those, so I can't say exactly how their in-game currency exchange works. You'll be able to exchange a specific currency earned through play, in this case Aether, with other players for actual cash store currency at a conversion rate that is completely community-driven. The exchange empowers people to purchase cash store items or lower the cost of them by playing the game. So essentially what they're saying is nothing is off limits to players of the game, because there is a way for you to get, like, they'll have two styles of currency. You'll have your like in gold game or whatever, and you'll have your like actual real world money bought currency. And we both know the real world money bought currency is the stuff that matters. The other currency can only be used for like lower level things that don't matter as much, but the extra goodies always require the in-game currency. So how do you get the in-game currency? Somebody else has to buy it, and then they have to be willing to give it to you in exchange for items or services. In most cases, I'm imagining a game like this for items, but it's the players who are buying this currency that get to dictate the terms of how much you have to give them in terms for this currency. So it can be made ghoulishly hard to get this currency if people are like, no, you have to give me a ton of items for the tiniest fraction of this currency. What are free-to-play players going to do? It's essentially creating like a peasant laboring class for the people who are willing to put money into the game. Now, if this was just like cosmetic stuff, doesn't feel as bad. But this whole like, it's great, you'll be able to get anything in the game, at least with like Magic the Gathering Arena. You can earn gems through playing and doing whatever. The free-to-play method allows you to get to gems by just saving your gold and entering into drafts. You can get gems. There's like a couple of different ways to acquire gems. Now, yes, the path is narrow and should be wider, but regardless, it's not one strictly where it's resultant entirely on somebody has to put money in for this and have bought it. You know what I mean? That also helps keep the currency worth more because it can only be acquired specifically with cash and no other way. So that to me is pretty unpleasant. The idea that there'll be things locked away that you can't get unless you become like a peasant laborer, but it's what you can get with the currency that becomes the real problem. So let's continue on with the announcement. It says, booster packs have been a staple of the Magic the Gathering card game for over 26 years as a way to build a library of cards that allow players to construct different decks for different situations. Magic Legends will also be offering booster packs as a way to collect spells and collect shards of spells. Oh, I didn't even notice that the first time I read this. So, shards of spells. Oh my god. So, you basically, like, you don't get the full spell. You have to collect it up in pieces even? And they're going to put it in booster packs? I mean, let's be real. What's a booster pack? What's a booster pack when it comes to a game like this? That's a loot box. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't Magic the Gathering, and you're not getting cards. It's straight up a loot box. So they're going to be selling loot boxes with fractions of spells. God. And it says if you choose to purchase these booster packs, there are several other types of items you have a chance to unlock in addition to spells. These range from unique artifacts to unique spells. So artifacts and spells you can only get by spending real-world money. And even a unique class. A class you can only access with real-world money. These classes and items are not more powerful than the free class or other items that exist in the game. That is, it says, but they're different horizontally. They provide a different set of play options, but don't give a power advantage. For example, the Geomancer and Mind Mage are equally powerful ways to experience the multiverse, but they offer different and unique gameplay experiences without telling you in any way how they differ. This is so vague. I find this sort of like wording to be troublesome. Let me see if they talk about it more before. I'll return to why this is an issue for me. So it continues on. Classes are a larger part of your progression in Magic Legends, and having a variety of playstyles at your disposal makes deck building, artifact collecting, and loadout creation all the more interesting. So they're essentially saying if you don't spend money, you're going to have a less interesting time. In addition to the classes that are included in the game for free, we'll be selling themed Planeswalker classes that give you more class options to choose from when constructing your loadouts. These classes will have their own progression trees, traits, sparks, abilities, powers, and a unique costume that can be worn on its own or mixed with the costume parts from other classes to customize the look of your Planeswalker. As before, these classes are not more powerful than the free classes that exist in the game, but are different from the free classes horizontally. They'll have their own set of play options without giving a numerical advantage. All right, so this numerical advantage thing, this is where I feel like you can play some real word games, okay? Because you can just, like, what do they mean by no numerical advantage? Does that mean every class has a set amount of stat points that are spread across the board? You know what I mean? Like, every character can only have 30 points, but they have their points distributed in different areas. Because just changing numbers around from different things, all attributes aren't born equal, right? So to use a slightly hyperbolic example, imagine if you could purchase different loadouts, abilities, class sets in Magic the Gathering, where you could just tweak your starting stats. And it's not more powerful because at the end of the day, all the numbers stay the same. So here's how it works. One of the classes you can buy, your life total starts 4 points lower. But your starting hand size and maximum hand size, your max hand size, which is what your starting hand size is 4 points higher. So you start with an opening hand of 11 cards and can have up to 11 cards at the end of any turn. But you start at 16 life. Does that not sound insanely overpowered? And again, it is a hyperbolic example, but I'm just trying to give you a concept. When you say no numerical advantage, what does that mean? Because from the example I just gave, there's no numerical advantage. We just shifted your life total down by 4 points, and we shifted your max hand size up by 4 points. What's the difference? No numerical advantage. $20, please. Like that. Honestly, this sort of thing makes it feel like, let me continue here. This is just frustrating. While we have a variety of progression systems in Magic Legends, we'll also be adding a Battle Pass system for added progression and even more rewards. We'll have a completely free track that features currency packs, costume options, unique spells, and artifacts that reward players for engaging in the system regularly. Not unique artifacts, not like the ones you pay for. We will also offer a paid track that comes with everything mentioned before, but also includes unique cosmetics, more bonus currency, more unique loadout customization items. The Battle Pass seasons will provide plenty of time to collect all your great rewards while giving you interesting challenges to complete while you progress. We will run events that feature free content and unique rewards regularly. Event rewards will range from new spells and artifacts to new playable classes and more. All of these items can be earned for free by participating, or players can choose to purchase an event buyout, which immediately provides them with the event rewards. What has happened to video games? This is the first time I'm encountering this. I read this before, but my brain was just churning over everything. You run events that are free to play in, that you can earn the stuff from, but you can just pay to not play in the event and get the stuff from it? Like, how much more blatant can they be that it doesn't, like, it's not about playing the game to have fun or anything. Like, there's no... How do people enjoy this without actually, like, progressing on their own or doing anything on their own? I mean, I understand to a degree trying to have ways for people who have way less time to try and, like, up their progression to a degree, I guess? I don't know. There's some room for arguments that way. Like, let people play the game they want. I get it, but, like, I don't know, man. Like, it continues saying, lastly, we'll be offering a variety of convenience items at launch and overtime, such as loadout slots, deck slots, XP boosts, and other items that will assist with leveling throughout the game. None of these are required, but they do allow for faster progress if you prefer to level up more quickly or catch up to friends that are already ahead of you. I mean, it's just like, the thing is they do present it as a convenience thing where they're like, hey, you know what, if you want to get further along, you can do this. But at the same time, they turn around and make games intentionally grindy and less fun and more restrictive to make you feel restricted and held back so you will pay to progress. It's a really uncomfortable business model. I don't like it. I really don't. I feel like it's way, way, way too easy to fall into the pay. Like, this whole, it's everything. Even the free events are just pay to bypass it and get the stuff from it. What even is that? That's just crazy to me. Either way, if you go on Twitter, you can see literally every single response to them posting it is negative, which is a stark contrast to previous posts on their Twitter. Previous posts on the Twitter have less engagement, but it's almost all positive engagement, where it's like, oh man, I want to go and check out the world. Oh, this looks dope. Let me play the game. When can we play? Like, there's multiple people demanding to be able to play the game. On this post talking about this, every single person is angry or disappointed. And after reading this, I can understand why. What's the incentive to create an interesting, engaging game that you can have fun playing when you can make more money by frustrating your players? What a weird world we're in. I remember the old days of video games where you would just buy the game and just play it. And then you could buy an expansion, and the expansion would be like a full-on extra, like, worth it chunk of the game. And now it's like, give me $12 for a trench coat. You know what I mean? Like, you want Chandra's regulator? $7, bro. It's so greedy. I don't like it. I don't like it, my friends. I mean, spend your money however you want. But I just saw this and I was like, all right, you know what? This is what we're going to talk about today. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Big shout out to all my patrons and channel members. Thank you very much for supporting what I do here. You guys mean a lot to me. And I will see all of you very soon